All right, everybody, it is time to get our strategy fine-tuned and let's focus on the upcoming bull market that's close at hand. I'm going to open up a brand new chart and show you how I'll be setting everything up. So let's go and create a new chart. I'm going to label this one video training, hit create, and I'm on that Bitcoin index. So let's go, it's this one here, Bitcoin index. And I'm going to set this to the weekly time frame. I'm going to turn off the volume. We don't need that. And now I'm going to set this to logarithmic. And now we have Bitcoin showing here, the logarithmic scale on the weekly time frame. So let me show you what I'm doing to set up for the bull market that will come here in the near future, and how can we determine around when the bull market or when this bear market will be over and start the new bull market. So let's go back and take a look at this bull market right here. This was the 3-year bull market followed by the 1-year bear market, right? So let's look back and see what tool we can use to determine when this bear market was over. Take this tool here, the dates and price range. That is, if I remember correctly, yeah, that's right here, down here at the bottom, date and price range. Add it to your favorites. So I'm going to take this box and I'm going to take the top right here of this bull market top, and I'm going to measure all the way out to the bottom right here. I'm going to show you something here. So let's go from here and all the way to right here, the bottom. And I like to, I call this the 1-year bear market. So my style, this is the style I have set up. I've selected bars range and borders red. You do whatever you want, but that's what I've got set up. And then I call it 1-year bear market. It's typically 52 weeks, and I'll show you the facts in the chart about that. So from the top of this bull market, if you simply measure out 52 weeks, you'll be around the bottom of this 1-year bear market. Now let's take a look at the previous bear market to that. This was this beautiful 3-year bull market. We have a top there. Let's measure from the top to the bottom of this 1-year bear market. Using that same tool, let's take that, and remember we're going to take the top of it right here, and we will measure out 52 bars. And again, I like to use my 1-year bear market just to remind me here. So 1-year bear market, 52 bars. So that was the timing of the bottom of that. Pretty cool, right? So far we have 2 bear markets that were 52 weeks long. Let's take a look at this bear market right here. We have this bull market, and keep in mind these first 2, these is kind of still new for Bitcoin, so the rhythm really starts to take place right here and this bear market. So let's take a look at this bull market top, and then we'll measure out. So we'll take that and go from the, this was like a tweezer top, both are fine. Let's go out 52 week weeks right here and hit 1 year bear market. So this one was 52 weeks was here. Obviously we had more weeks to go. So this one lasted all the way out to 58 weeks. Typically the bear market has been 52 weeks, but this one pushed out to 58. Again, that's kind of due to Bitcoin being so new in this time frame. Either way though, 52 weeks to 58 weeks is where we can kind of predict where the bear market will end. So this was 52 weeks, this was 52 weeks. So now let's take the bull market top right here and let's measure out 52 weeks. So we'll go from here, let's go out to 52 weeks right here. And I'm going to change this to my preset, 1 year bear market. So as you can see, we have a 1 year bear market from this top and just simply measure out 52 weeks. And now I'm going to put this vertical line right here at the end of that. I'm going to come over here and make this green, and I'm going to put the time label down there and hit OK. So around September, late September, early October, we should see a bottom around this time frame. I'm not saying price is coming down here. What this is measuring is simply time, the time frame as to when we should be towards the bottom of this bear market. Okay, so great tool to use. So now we kind of know. Now what I'm going to be showing you is my strategy, which some of you have remembered back when I used the weekly strategy. And it's combined with the weekly cycles. So Bitcoin is very cyclical, as I just showed you. You have this 3-year bull market followed by this 52-week bear market. And if I were to start right here from this, I'll draw this vertical line here. So this is the bottom of this bear market, which is the green line to start focusing on a bull market. Let me delete that actually. So what we're going to do is use this tool to help us figure out where to find weekly cycle lows within this bull market. Bitcoin really likes the 31 weeks. So let's take this point right here, and I'm going to measure out 31 weeks. And I have a template for that called Weekly Cycle Box. And this is the style, so you can see what I've got mine set up as. And then I keep that blue. Yep. So 31 bars. So each one of these bars is a week, right? So 31 weeks. It seems to be the magic number for Bitcoin. It likes either 31 or 32 weeks for a weekly cycle low. So we're going to take this tool right here called the cyclic lines. And I believe that is, let me find it for you guys, right here, cyclic lines. I would add it to your favorites. And we're going to take that and we're going to put it at the front of this box and at the back of this box. So we'll start right here and we're going to bring it out to the end of that box right there. And then I like to change these to the color blue. And let's go ahead and make those nice and bright so you guys can see it really well. So each one of these lines is 31 weeks apart. And this is called cycles. And what, again, Bitcoin likes to do is find a bottom near that 31, 32 weeks. So if we look at this and zoom out, you can see that here's a low point, right? And it comes up and then it comes down, and here's a low point. And then it comes up and it comes down, here's the low. Comes up, then it comes down, here's the low. Comes up, comes down, there's a low. So it's like a stair step. So if we were to put a low right there, and then we put a low right there, we could see stairs going up. So it's producing higher lows every time we move up this ladder. So put one right here. So you get the point. So we have a low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, higher low, and so forth. So really cool to map this out, because what this will do is it will help us to focus on the highest probability type trade setups. So I like to add this indicator. We put in the SMA. We want this simple moving average. We'll go to the settings because I already saved it, but the length is 10. So just take pause the screen and set yours up like mine if it's not. The style, I like the MA line to be white with that thickness there. And I'm gonna hit OK. And the reason why I have this line here is that we're going to use this more on the daily charts, but it's good to see it on the weekly as well too. So if you think about it, we want price. I want price to go past the blue line, like it has here. And if we get a candle close above it, this confirms the bottom down here. We go above it and close back. We pass the line and the candle closes above it. We can confirm the bottom. This was a double bottom. We go past it and we have a weekly candle close above the 10 SMA line. We can confirm the bottom. So that just helps us to, we won't be able to time the bottom like these wicks or this wick right here, or this section. We have to wait for confirmation. So that's what's so nice about trading with the cycles, for weekly cycles. So now, how do I use this to enter into long positions? Let me create another screen. So I'm going to select this. And so this side over here, I'm going to leave it as the 1 week time frame. Let's set this up here. And then this side over here, I'm going to change this to the 1 day. So now every single one of these bars is a daily candle. So let me zoom out and let's go to the beginning. Let me do the same over here. So here's the beginning and here's the end of the bull market. Let's take a look at the daily. So here's the beginning down here and the top, right? So this is set up beautifully on the weekly chart. Now we need to fine tune these blue lines on the daily chart. I'll show you how I do that. It's important to fine tune it so you can be really accurate with these, because each one of these blue lines is based off of the weekly chart, right? When we set these blue lines, it was on the weekly time frame. Now we see these blue lines, these weekly cycle lows, but they're on the daily chart. So let's zoom in, and you could see that this blue line is a little bit off because this isn't the low way up here. This is the low down here. So I'm going to zoom in here for you guys, and let's drag this down so I could find this right here. So this blue line lands on Monday, November 7th, 2022. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday seems to be the lowest. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This completes the week. So if I look to the left, this is the lowest wick right here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it to this wick right there. And now notice that it didn't change over here because I stayed within the week. So I'm going to go find this other blue line right here. Let's find it. We could see this isn't the lowest one. This one is, or this one. So this is Monday, June 12th, 2023. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So now I could take this and I'm going to line it up with this candle right here because that's the lowest on the daily chart right there. So notice that didn't change this either. We stayed within the week on the weekly chart. So now that I have that, I'm going to lock this into place so I don't accidentally move it. So let me click that and let's click, here, let's bring this over. Let's lock that so I don't accidentally move it. And now here's where the beautiful magic works. So now that we have set our 1 day chart from this weekly, I'm just going to focus on this daily chart now. So I'm going to select this so that all I see is the 1 day chart. Now without any other indicators, let me just delete this. Without any other indicators other than these weekly cycles, let me show you how powerful this is. Zoom in. And the rule is that we wait for the daily candles to pass the blue line. This is the weekly cycle low. So we wait and now we focus on these candles right here. And what I'm looking for is a green candle closing. So I want the candle to be below the white 10 SMA line. I want the candles to go past the weekly cycle low. And then now I am waiting for a move to the upside on the daily. So I get this green candle, the body closes above the white 10 SMA line. So I'm going to put in a long position right here. And I'm going to put my stop loss at the most recent swing low right there. The most recent swing low. And now I'm in this trade. When do I get out of this trade? Let me show you this one other indicator. So I lied. There's one other indicator that I use. SMA, the simple moving average, again. And this time, we go to the settings. I'm going to change this to gold and put it to this thickness. And over here on the inputs, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to have it set to 10. And this time I'm going to change this from chart to 5 days. Right here, 5 days. And hit OK. So now this line represents a 5-day time frame, even though we're in the 1 day chart. And what I use this line for is to close out of my long positions. So once price goes above, if I see a daily candle close below the gold line, I'm going to close completely out of my trade. Personally, I'll keep 10% remaining and I'll close 90% of my trade out so I can put that to work in my next trade. At the same time, keep 10% in here because this is a great move all the way for the rest of the 3-year bull market, right? So I can see we have a daily candle close right here below the gold line. So I'm going to take my trade and I'm going to put it and close out at the close of that daily candle right there. So this is my trade. And now I'm looking for the next setup, the weekly cycle. There's something I do like using as well too. Not only these blue lines right here, but these are the most powerful ones. So maybe I'll show you this first. Let me show you the weekly cycle lows. So we have a weekly cycle here. Price is coming down to it. As soon as it passes, I'm waiting for a candle to close back above. Sure enough, we get it right here. So I'm going to enter into a long position at the close of this daily candle, which would be the opening of the next daily candle. My stop loss at the most recent swing low. And you know my rule, when I'm in this long position, I stay in until I see a red body candle close below, which would be this one right here. So I'll go to that candle, and we close right there. So I'd leave 10% in and take 90% out. And in this trade, that 90% or that 10% remaining you would lose that 10%, right? Well, no, you wouldn't. At least not where if you put it at that swing low. Let's see, yeah. So that 10% would still be remaining, but you would take out 90% right here. And then let me show you the power of the. I was going to show this later, but I think it's worth showing now. So these blue lines, like I said, are the weekly cycle lows. There's midpoints to these weekly cycles. So let me draw this box. Go from, well, let's do it on the weekly chart. So let's go back to this weekly chart. And let's set it up there first. So in between a weekly cycle is a halfway point, right? We're going to find that. So I'm going to go from this blue line to this blue line. I'm going to do another box from this blue line to this blue line. And now we have this middle line right here of this box. I'm going to put my cyclic lines there. Right at this line. If you can't be dead on it, which you won't be able to, just be right before it. So I'm going to go from here to here. And I'm going to change the color to yellow. And now I don't need those boxes anymore. So now I could see the halfway points. So let's show you the Let's get that adjusted on the 1-day chart. I should have done that from the very beginning, setting this chart up. So let's go to here. Let's open this up all the way. I'm going to draw the box from here to here. So I know I can move this over to right there. I'm dead on right in the center. Now let's do my other blue, or my other box from this blue line to that blue line. And we're going to move this one over to right there. Dead on. Okay. Don't need those boxes anymore. And now we have the halfway points. So let's go back to this here. We traded this weekly cycle low. We could take a look at the midpoint, the halfway point, and do the same type of strategy where we wait for the price to cross past the midpoints, and now I'm starting to hunt for a long position. We're below the white 10 SMA line, that's great. Then we get a close back above it right here. So this is my trigger candle that I'm going to enter my long position. So I'll go to the close of that, which will be the opening of that next daily candle. I'll put my stop loss right here, and then I'm going to get out of my trade right here at the close of this red candle below the gold line, which is the 10 SMA on the 5-day time frame. So let's put that there. and I'll be getting out of my position at the close of that daily candle, and I'll leave 10% remaining. We already went through that one. We get to this halfway point here. I'm going to wait for price to pass it. It does, but notice the price of Bitcoin, it's above the white 10 SMA line, so I got to wait for it to pull back. It pulls back, and then I get a close back above right here. This closed up, so now I'm going to get into a new long position. Put that right there. My stop loss at the most recent swing low, and now I'm in on this trade, and I'm going to ride that all the way until I see a daily candle close below, like it did right here on this. So let's take this out to that candle close right there. All right, again, 90% out of my trade, 10% remaining for the rest of the bull run. We come to our next weekly cycle low, so it's not a halfway point, but it's actually a weekly cycle low. I wait for price to go past it, and I make sure price is below the 10 SMA. I get a close back above like it did right here. I'm going to enter my long position at the next opening daily candle. I'm going to put my stop loss at the most recent swing low. And I'm going to ride this until we get a daily candle close like we did over there. Bring this over. Let's pull this up. And I'll get 90% out, 10% remaining. And yeah, it's just kind of that same rinse and repeat. You're looking at this right here. Price went below right here just for a couple of days because we were above it over here, you know, with the opening of this candle. I want complete body candles below it like it did right here. So then I would look to open my long position at the opening of, or at the close of that, which would be the opening of that. Put my stop loss at the most recent swing low. Wait for a candle close below the gold line, which it did right there. So this wasn't all that great of a move, but not every trade is just, you know, delivering huge returns, but this is good enough. 90% out here, 10% remaining. As you can see, that 10% would be taken from this right here, but you got 90% out. I like to leave 10% in just for these big moves, you know. So maybe, you know, you could decide if you want to leave some remaining in or not. All right. We have a weekly cycle low. Wait for price to go past. It is, but it's not below the 10 SMA, so I wait for price to go below. We have candle bodies below it, and then this is our breakout candle right here. I'll put in a long position. Put my stop loss at the most recent swing low, and then I'm going to wait for price to close below the gold line there, and you can see this one was a really good run. So here's the close right there. So let's bring this over to that candle close below. Move this up there to that close right around there. So I'm going to take 90% out, keep 10% in. Let's zoom out. So you can see these trades are like insane good moves, right? Really good moves. Good move, big move, big move. Not so big of a move. Very, you know, big move here. This is where really good revenue comes from when you're working off of these weekly cycle lows, these blue lines, as well as these midpoints in between these weekly cycles. And if you just zoom out and you look at this, you're pretty much picking the lows and getting out the highs, picking the lows, getting out the highs, picking the lows, getting out the highs, right? Pretty powerful stuff. That's why I like cycles, weekly cycles. So we're waiting, we know the rules, we're waiting for price to, we see a weekly cycle, we need to wait for it to pass it, and then we wait for a body candle below, but we need a green candle close above. This would be the candle right there. So I'm going to put in my long position at the close of that, the opening of that one, my stop loss at the most recent swing low, and then I'm going to wait for a candle body close, probably this one here. So let's take that to there. And we're there. So yeah, pretty powerful, right? And that, by the time we get up into these areas, we're towards the top of this 3-year bull market. So I hope this really helps you guys to see how I'm going to be trading in the next bull markets. You can take this, and I would recommend you back test it. Go over here to this bull run. Go over here to this bull run and back test it. And that way you get yourself familiar. So how will I be playing this one out? Well, I'm not going to use these cycle lines because these cycle lines dealt with this particular bull run. So I'm not going to use these same lines for the next bull run that we're coming up to. So I'm going to start all over. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this. Yes, remove. Let's go to the weekly, and this is what I'm doing to set myself up for this new bull run coming up. So as I've shared with you guys, we have a bull market top, and if we take this tool again and we measure out 52 weeks, so let's go 52 weeks right there. Let's do the 1-year bear market. So this is the potential, like with high probability, our low will be somewhere here. I don't know where price will be. I don't really care. I'm focused on the timeline. So with this, I would then take my box and say, okay, from here, let's measure out 31 bars, because that, weekly cycles, because that is what Bitcoin loves. It loves 31 weeks, sometimes 32 weeks. It's right within that sweet spot. So I'm going to take my cyclic lines, I'm going to put it at the beginning of the box and at the end of the box, change my color to blue, and since this box is here, I'm going to do my other box to find my midpoint. So from this blue line to that blue line, here's my halfway point, here's my halfway point. So now I could do my other cyclic line, which would be right, because you can't be dead on it. I'd rather be just before that line there. And then I'm going to focus on this one here, put it right there, change this to yellow for my halfway point. And now I have my roadmap of what I'm going to be following to enter my long positions for this next bull run we're going to have. So I'll be focusing on the weekly cycle low, I'll focus on the midpoint, I'll focus on the weekly cycle low, the midpoint, and so forth. So yeah, I hope this helps, and let me know if you have any questions. Sorry for the long video. There will be a follow-up video to this because not only will I be making those trades on the one-day chart like I showed you, but I'm going to also make more of a sniper move by going in based off of the 4-hour chart as well. So I'm going to have 2 entries for every trade. So I'll be entering on a daily time frame, and then I'm going to drop down to the 4-hour and really get in on another trade with a little bit more potential for growth. So I'll show that in another video. This one's already pretty long. Okay, hope this helps. If you have any questions, as always, just reach out there in Discord. Thanks, guys. See ya.